Can I give it to you?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening. Welcome to the Hartland Selectboard meeting on the 17th of March. It is a special reorganizational meeting. As chair, I will now turn over the meeting to our town manager, John.
Great, thanks, Phil. So at this time, I would entertain a motion or a nomination for the chair of the select board.
I nominate Phil, the chair.
There's a nomination, is there a second?
Most sections don't need a second. Nominations don't need a second.
Nominations don't need a second.
No, first you need to see if there's anyone else.
Yep, is there any other nominations for chair? So we have a nomination for Phil, no other nominations?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Phil, congratulations on being
Thank you.
chair. Now the meeting is back to you.
Okay, I would like to.
I'm just wondering how many more years we can sucker him into doing this.
They gave me a free parking space.
That's good.
The next position is the vice chair, and I actually would like to nominate Tom Kennedy. Are there other nominations? No argument here. Other nominations now. All in favor of Tom as vice chair, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And is it secretary?
It's
clerk of the board.
Clerk of the board.
Clerk of the board. I'll open nominations for clerk of the board.
I'll nominate Jim Riley.
Thank you. Are there other nominations for clerk of the board? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye. Abstain.
Thank you, Jim. I think before we just go on, I want to say thank you. I will work hard to be fair and run good meetings and look forward to your support to do this. Okay, thank you. Meeting date and time. It is currently the first and third Monday, with the exception of a holiday, at 5:30 here in Damon Hall. Is there any change to that or suggested change? I don't think we need a motion. Does anyone know, or is it just announce it?
I make a motion that we continue our regular meeting time at 5:30 on the first and third Monday of each month.
Okay.
Except for holidays, will be
Definitely.
Tuesday.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Tom. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Newspaper of record. It is currently the Valley News.
I'll make a motion that we continue to use the Valley News as our newspaper record.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Is it fine to just use one paper or do you need?
Yep. We often post things in two. We often use the Valley News and the Vermont Standard.
Okay, that's where I was going on that one. Okay. All in favor of continuing the Valley News as newspaper of record, say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Physical location for meeting notices. I'm going to, John, can you clarify what we have now and what you're changing?
Correct.
Suggested to change.
So currently we post them on the website, inside at Damon Hall, at Mike's in the North Hartland Post Office. The flow at Mike's is difficult, and I don't believe that the agendas get seen frequently.
Right.
I would suggest and recommend that we change that location to the library. We can post them on the community board at the Hartland Public Library. So keep it inside at Damon Hall, the website, the North Hartland Post Office, and the Hartland Public Library.
How about the little bulletin board at the plaza here?
It
Just
is outside and exposed.
I get that, I'm just, do people actually look at things there?
That one's hard to,
If I'm looking for a kitten.
Kitten?
that one's hard to say. So, and we have been posting them, you know, they go on the clipboard which is right beside the door at Mike's. Using the outside, the enclosed case is similar to the one here by the post office in Three Corners in that it's, can get very cluttered very quickly and
So I know this is for our posting, but, you know, planning commission likely posts at Mike's as well.
they do. I would like to, and the clerk is in support of this, like moving at large to having everybody post at the library as opposed to
So
at Mike's.
you'll have follow-up with planning and if necessary, conservation.
Conservation Commission, exactly.
And when we, in our regular meeting, I think we're going to retouch on the rules of procedure with the idea that, talk about the suggestion that we ask the planning commission and the two commissions and any committees to adopt the rules of procedure as well, so that we be in sync that way.
Well, that means I would move that our places of posting our warnings be the Hartland Public Library, the Town Hall, the lists, the website, and the North Hartland Post Office.
I'll second.
Okay, one more item, that's for agendas, for meetings, special meetings, will we make it the same?
The same.
Okay,
All postings would be at those four locations, 3 physical locations, 1 at the on the website.
okay, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you.
Just to note, the website isn't really a physical location. You split hairs.
If we have a website, we are required to post it to the website.
I get that.
Okay. So, yes.
Okay. Okay, we have the rules of procedure in the packet. This is something that we added fairly recently. I think for now, the only thing that is we just changed, we're clarifying the where things are posted. And
Did you say there were other changes or no?
So those are already noted in the one that you had. So there was a formatting typo error on the third page, which is why you're just getting a new,
So there's no content changes?
only the physical location,
Okay.
so
which is changed in there, which,
before we get into much of the discussion, is there a motion to,
Make a motion to adopt our rules of procedure for another year.
is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Trace, any discussion?
just to clarify what you have in your packet, there was the old formatting for the rules of procedure was clunky. In an effort to clean it up a little bit, a formatting error happened, which is why you just got a new copy, a new third page. The only actual change in the rules of procedure was to clarify that the posting locations will be at the Hartland Public Library, the North Hartland Post Office, and Damien Hall. Nothing else has changed within the rules of procedure.
This still says Mike's Store and Collectibles.
In the packet that you have on the second page, yes, it does. There was 2 locations where one got caught after the packet went out. So the one that
Well, this is the one you just printed.
that's just, but I just printed you the third page, yeah. The one that was in the,
This is the one you just printed.
right, in the packet, yeah. It was noticed after the packet got put together that there was that second Mike's location.
Then I think we amend the motion to cover corrections. Right.
Because under E,
So under E,
E2, it still says Mike's.
Yep.
So I would make a What's the process, Tom? Do I request an amendment to the original motion?
Yes.
So I'd like to request an amendment to the original motion to clarify section E2 to reflect that our postings will be at Damon Hall, the library, and the North Hartland Post Office.
Is there a second to the motion?
Sure.
Okay.
Just a question. Can't we leave it to be more generic and just say as identified at the organizational meeting? Because isn't these rules of procedure, I mean, we're adopting them every year, I guess does that. Okay, never mind. Because we may change them.
We'll change it
So
again.
it could be then this be,
You're gonna have deja vu in another
Oh, right.
364 days.
so why don't we as
I don't know.
moved by the board at the organizational meeting?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the,
I don't really
What the
think it matters
requirements
anyway,
are.
because no one's gonna read this after we do this today.
Yeah, it's good, it's like we're correct.
it's based on the VLCT model.
They get
so-
posted on the website,
Yeah.
that you will all sign these.
So I think the question is, does everyone agree to the motion as amended? As amended, sure. Right?
Okay. Then all in favor of the motion as amended, say aye.
Aye.
The amended motion passes. Thank you.
There's one copy coming down that you can sign. That'd be great.
With the correct?
It's the third page with the formatting corrected.
So, Mr. Chair, are we following these
That is-
procedures from the league, or,
That is just for your information.
okay, so we're not authorizing one or more select board members review orders?
I think it's going to come up in a conversation a little bit later.
But we should be doing that kind of thing within the organization.
Yeah, I think we need to talk about it first before, because there's other pieces, the ethics. The state now has a state statute that we fall under, so,
The ethics code does not have to be undertaken at the organizational meeting.
what did you just pass me?
It's the amended rules of procedure,
I knew page one.
Yeah.
Okay.
corrected.
This is the right one.
That is the correct version.
I do think we need to authorize people to do the orders though.
Let me look at what we're talking about, I'm sorry.
On the first page of the guidelines, I think we have to reauthorize the two people that we have to sign orders.
Yeah, that, and we also should reauthorize the tree warden.
Right, which will come up under, so
That's page one and
I think we can do that now or under appointments, because those are appointed positions, which is on the agenda for the 5:30 meeting, the regularly scheduled meeting.
So I'm gonna make a motion that we adjust our agenda to add, what's the terminology? To add a discussion item to determine which select board members review and approve orders on behalf of the entire board.
Is there a second?
Two people do it?
There's occasions when you have to.
There's occasions
Oh, okay.
and off weeks where
Okay.
we need people to come in.
Got it.
Yeah.
So that should be part of the organizational meeting, not under appointment.
Right, but the tree warden, which came up separately,
That's an
yes,
appointment.
right,
So I have a motion on the table to do that
And
now.
I just seconded it.
You still fit, okay, great.
And I'll volunteer because I've been able to sign them in conjunction with a meeting with John to set the agenda. And so if people are comfortable, we would just ask for a second person to be available.
All right, so the motion was to add it to the agenda, so Michelle say yes. Right, no?
It has to be part of the organizational meeting.
Well, no, to this current meeting agenda.
Okay.
So if we all say yes, then we'll make a motion to assign the two people.
I thought we did vote on it, so.
You did,
Did we?
Can you repeat the motion?
I'd like to add to the agenda the task of selecting one or more select board members to review and approve orders on behalf of the entire board as needed.
Okay, and I did second it, so all in favor, say aye. Aye.
No.
Okay.
You said no, okay. Motion passes.
I'd like to make a motion that Phil and Tom be the designated signers for orders.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand. Okay.
Are you comfortable with it?
Yeah, no, that was fine. I thought,
Okay, too many amendments and motions here, even before 5:30. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we now have authorized select board members for the warrants. Tree warden will move, and I think the other items, we've done everything. The piece that I noticed is the oath of office, traditionally only the newly elected. Right. And this says all select boards are required to take prior to assuming the office, and it was vague to me.
It's just the newly, so Clyde's already is newly affected in town, yeah.
Okay. So there's that on that. Then, are we ready to adjourn?
no, so this was really confusing. I think we should have our own checklist and not use the leagues. I think we're comfortable now, but there's stuff in here that we don't necessarily need, and I think that this could just go a lot more smoothly if we just make it Hartland-esque.
Yep.
And forget about all this other stuff.
Tom, would you agree that looking at the agenda as we have it, that to do that, we would add the authorization of select board members to review and improve the orders?
No, that should be under our organizational meeting. So anything, the
So
organization.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So to make it, you're saying, move away from this
Yeah,
and create our own.
right, for
And-
next year.
And given what we just went through with those 5 bullet points, if we add one more bullet point, is that complete?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm really confused.
So it's the short agenda, right, that we have a little planning meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not having gotten your packet.
This one, sorry. We don't need, we gotta do the rules. Yes, this is fine.
Yeah.
But then we could add
Appointments.
Yes.
whatever
Yes.
other thing. There could be new things that come up between now and next year, that John can just throw that on the list,
Okay.
you know.
I think we're all in agreement that that's,
But the other thing too is, I would like to have in the future when we do the appointments at the regular meeting, is we have a list of all the appointments of all the other people that need, a list of all the people on the various commissions when their term expires and who's up.
So we know. I have no idea who we're appointing or not appointing and who might need to be appointed at some point.
yeah, I actually just looked at the book.
Right, I saw you doing that, and I happen to have mine with me as well, but we would just make it a little bit easier.
I agree. And that would be done in the normal business meeting
Yes.
following the
Yes.
organizational meeting. Okay.
But, there's certain things like, and again, I'm being somewhat parochial here, people sometimes forget, oh, you need to appoint someone to the solid waste district, or to the regional planning commission, and it gets forgotten. And then all of a sudden, these bodies are starving for members, and they don't have quorums, and stuff like that.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Okay, are we set?
Yep.
Motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, thank you.
Don't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere, you have 7 minutes.
It was a dead sprint up that
How about beer and cribbage? I mean, how are we?
We could get a game in.
Everyone, welcome to the March 17th Hartland Selectboard meeting. Starting time is 5:30. Just a point of clarification, we did have an earlier meeting to set our organizational structure for the year, and that's done. So the first order of business is we have 3 sets of minutes, the February 18th, the March 3rd regular minutes, and March 3rd executive session. I would entertain a motion to accept all of those.
So moved.
Thank you, Tom. A second?
Second.
Thanks, Clyde. Any discussion? We had tabled the February 18th to include the motion that we made that the town would retain this on hand, whatever the name of the attorney is, to represent the town in the section 2408 application for the ITW tower. Sorry, I'm not reading things very well. That's in here now. But we also had discussed at that meeting that we wanted to have any correspondence on the ITW application, should they apply, to go through our town manager. And I would like to ask for an amendment to
My friendly amendment is not just the application, all correspondence related to the section 248 process, not just the application.
Okay, so can you recite that as?
Tom, can you first clarify, is it 2408 or 248?
248.
Then we have an extra 0.
Yeah, we have, that's one of the things I've been stumbling on. I haven't seen that number before.
So I'd like to make a friendly amendment that all correspondence between our selected attorney and the town be solely through the town manager, and then the town manager will distribute the information as appropriate to the participating boards.
Okay, is there a second? I'll second. Thank you, Clyde. All in favor of the friendly amendment to the February 18th minutes, say aye. Aye. Okay, motion passes. Okay, any discussion on the March 3rd executive session or the regular minutes?
I move approval.
All in favor of approving both sets of March 3rd minutes, please say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Moving on to the warrants or the accounts payable through today, the 17th. I need an amendment to discuss them.
I move we accept the payment, accounts payables through today.
It's accounts payable.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. I'm sorry, a second.
A second.
Okay, great. I haven't signed it either. So that's okay, any discussion on the warrants? John, with the recent acquisition of more de-icer, $7,600, where's the budget at for this year with,
We're still within budget as of that purchase.
okay, that's,
So we're pretty close to the, we're 2 over?
Three over?
3 over.
Do we hear
No,
more?
Last time we talked about this, Mark, we were in budget still.
3,000 or 3 million.
Okay.
Yeah, and I
Which
hate
one
to
three
ask
is
this,
it?
where's the decimal point?
Depends who the friend is.
Okay, thank you. And will you be updating us on the saga of the Ford?
Are you looking at the, yes,
The towing
the Sable and
fees?
Sons? Yes. I will update you on the saga of the F-550.
Thank you. Sadly, thank you.
Makes for an exciting story.
Any other questions? All in favor of passing the invoices up through March 17th, say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Okay. Are there any adjustments to the agenda?
I'd like to see if we can just get an update on the process forward for the 2017 town plan, so everybody's on the same page.
Yes, I agree. I was going to ask to add an update on the 2025 town plan, so why don't we just, I'll have a general item for both the reapproval of the old plan as well as where the new plan is. So I'll add that under new business. Okay. Great. Are there any public comments? Great. Anything online? Okay, great. Moving on to old business, John, will you walk us through the Station Road?
Wait, just, we talked about it at the previous meeting before town meeting, so just an update. Ms. Clark provided the memo that was drafted between the town and the church regarding the creation of the parking area along Station Road. I sent that to the church so they had awareness of it. Looking at potentially making an amendment to it to update it, taking out language on the construction of the parking area. But also, I think we should consider amending the traffic flow on Station Road. It's confusing in this layout now in that it's two-way traffic for half the road, one-way traffic for the kind of downhill side of the road. Potentially looking at, and I kind of floated this idea with BJ as well, looking at making the road one-way the entire length. So one way from the intersection here down to where it intersects with Martinsville, and making it no parking except in the designated parking areas, period. That would potentially eliminate any of the kind of confusion that exists along Station Road parking. So just something that we are currently considering.
Okay, great. Trace, have you had any action at all on?
Friday at 1 o'clock.
Okay, great. Okay. And you're set? Okay, good. Okay, moving on to new business and appointments. Is there anyone from the Planning Commission here? Anyone online? Okay. The first thing I would like to address.
Steve Cohn is online, just a member of the Planning Commission.
Thank you. We've been discussing and we've talked with the Planning Commission about moving the membership from 9 to 7. I'd like to start with that and then we can get to the appointments that we have. I guess I'm looking for a motion to do that.
But we warned that appropriately.
We're just having discussions. Or are you thinking you're taking action on that?
I was thinking of taking action.
Is there we don't need to warn that? Can we just do that?
Better to discuss and then to circle back if we need to if we need to.
Okay.
But I think, Phil, do you mind? So as it stands, there's currently 9 members, one of which has Three people are up for reappointment,
Right.
one of which has declined to be reappointed, one of which we have not gotten paperwork back from. So you have one appointment in front of you tonight.
And one member has agreed to stay on, would like to stay on just until the new town plan is authorized. So then tonight, should we make the one appointment that we can make?
Well, so I think we should just have it be public that we're considering reducing the number of planning commissioners from 9 to 7 and just giving our reason. And then we can look at the statute to see what the statute says as far as how we go about doing that.
Okay.
So just get going. I think it's a good idea. I don't think you necessarily need 9 members on the planning commission. You can always have people who would like to participate, just participate from the audience. But in this day and age, it's difficult to get volunteers who will fully contribute. So, but generally speaking, there's usually 5 to 7 planning commission members in most towns.
So I'm with you, maybe the feedback goes to the planning commission, right? Maybe our town manager takes that feedback to the planning commission and suggests that they think about, who's reappointed and who may be sunsetted.
Yeah, it seems like it's coming together with natural attrition.
Yeah. So that way, at least we're doing the right people for it.
Yeah, and then second, one of the people that is currently a member has not reapplied.
Correct.
So I'm not sure if that's an oversight or a statement. So for now, then, I think I'm in agreement with both Jim and Tom that we use our discussion tonight as going, this is the direction we're going in, and we'll see what members.
So their next meeting should be the 2nd, so they'll be able to, provide feedback for our meeting on the 7th.
Excuse me.
Okay, moving on then.
So, is that a good handoff, dude?
Yeah, to talk to the planning commission about their membership. Do you want to take action on the reappointment of the one person who did reapply though?
Yes.
Right, okay, just confirming.
So I'll make a motion that we reappoint, do we know what the term would be?
I don't know, Kate, it's right, it's like the third page. Oh, it's right there, you have your own, sorry.
That's fine. I like to share.
Kate's is a 3-year term.
3-year term, so I would make a motion that we reappoint Kate Donahue for a 3-year term to the planning commission.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second. Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay. Moving on to the Conservation Commission, Rob, do you want to come forward?
Yeah, so, we have
Rob, would you identify yourself just for,
Rob Vandergright from the Conservation Commission. We had a couple of openings, and Dan Gotzigan has applied, and he's visited a couple of times to commission meetings. The commission met and talked about it, and we recommend that he be appointed for a 4-year term.
okay.
What would the term be?
I'm sorry,
For how many years?
4 years.
4 years?
Yeah,
Well,
that's typically what our terms are.
Or is it an appointment
To fill a position?
to fill the existing position? I thought it was the two.
Yeah, so, one of the people who stepped down is Will Moore, and his appointment went until 2028. So that would be the position we would fill, so that would be essentially a 4-year.
Okay.
Well, no, that's.
It would be a 3-year
It's a
term.
3-year.
Okay, yeah, so 3-year term.
Yeah, the remainder, I think the motion would be to appoint Dan to the remainder of Wilmore's existing term.
All right, then I'll make a motion that we appoint Dan Gotzigan to fulfill the remainder of Will Moore's term, which is 3 years from today.
Is there a second?
Second. Did you advertise this? Does anyone else know about it, that other people?
Yeah, we've advertised it multiple.
Oh, okay, okay.
We've got several people who've come to meetings too. Just see what we're up to.
I just wanted to make a quick comment that I went back through a number of emails today, and the town relationship with Mr. Godsagan has not been an easy one. And I'm, for one, willing to move on, but it's a rough bridge for me to cross after rereading a number of the pieces of correspondence over time. So is there any other discussion?
And I would just say that, the controversy that came up was related to the town work that was done, adjacent to his property. I think, that's history at this point. The people are gone, things have changed.
Yeah.
And it's time to, kind of step forward.
Okay, all in favor of approving Dan for the position through 2028, say aye.
Aye.
I'm going to abstain. Okay, motion passes. Thank you, Rob.
Animal control officer at the organization.
Thank you for, I'm going to turn to you for.
Great. Yearly, the board needs to reappoint the animal control officer and the tree warden. I've not had any successful communication with the tree warden to date. We'll continue to try to track him down. The animal control officer, you have an email on your table in front of you requesting reappointment. So it's a one-year term. It's done every year. I will say Jim's been really fantastic. He's very responsive.
I'll make a motion to reappoint Jim Armbruster as animal control officer for another year.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Clyde and Jim. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay. Can we do the tree warden, or do we need to wait till we hear
I think we need to wait to make sure there's sufficient
Okay.
interest to reappoint
Okay.
him as the tree warden.
Okay, before I move on,
There are no other appointments at this point.
okay, we have folks here to talk and present on the idea of restarting the Hartland Community Breakfast. Andy,
Yes,
please identify yourself with.
Andy Kelly.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for hearing us. Some of us are here to try to restart what was quite a successful Hartland Community Breakfast. And just a little brief history, back in 2009, there was an organization called Hartland Community Connections, which was under the umbrella of Mama Scotty Prevention Project, and primarily was involved in working with the youth in Hartland to do prevention work and help them be successful. We, Matt Waite was also on the board, who was here. We sort of moved to looking at community assets as an important part of helping children be successful. And through that move, one thing that we did was we started having a monthly community breakfast that was here in Damon Hall. And we would like to restart that. Basically, volunteers came and cooked and served and cleaned up, and we had a program or a speaker each month that was designed to build community and inform the town of Hartland about different issues. Some of the things that we had as topics went on to be quite successful. There was a 1 month topic on aging in place, which then led to the creation of Aging in Hartland. We've had topics such as fire safety and prevention, where the presenter we brought in was John Sanders, and Conservation Commission presented a number of times, including things like invasives, where to access town and preserve conserved land. And so I counted over 50 or so different topics. Hartland Community Connections dissolved, Mount Scottney Prevention changed its focus, and the breakfasts were briefly taken over by the community resilience organizations. And that then came along COVID, and everything just kind of shut down. Sharing food in a community space was not a good idea. So we now have a new group formed, and I want to make sure I get our name correct. I think. So it's Hartland Community Resilience. Is that right? Yes. And we're still under the Community Resilience Organization as a fiscal agent. And they do provide some fiscal oversight and bookkeeping and some level of insurance for us. We're not asking for money from the town. We are just here to ask for the use of Damon Hall in the kitchen and I guess the go ahead to restart the breakfast. Again, the purpose is building community, having people connect in providing some information, topics of interest, as well as a forum for discussion as well. Any questions or comments?
I think it's great. I used to go to those and they were just wonderful. There's quite a variety of topics that were discussed, and usually it was a pretty good number of people here, so yeah.
We do expect the donations to cover generally the cost of the food that we're cooking, unless the price of eggs keeps going up and up and up. So what we're really asking is what do we need to do to get started? We have volunteers ready to go in April, and so I guess that's the question, what do we need?
It sounds like it's more of an operational issue.
Correct. I think one thing that the board might want to consider, so insurance, which you touched on, we can talk about that, scheduling, we can figure that out. We don't, as it stands now, there is a fee to rent Damon Hall. We amended the Damon Hall rental policy to lower the fee for community type organizations and groups, but it still exists. Off the top of my head, I think we lowered it down to like 20, I believe it's $25, I could be wrong.
I just want to mention in terms of scheduling that there's already a community breakfast that happens every Friday in connection with the Hartland Food Show. And so we don't want to we don't want those two to be competing that way.
Yeah, so we met with some of the people that organized that, and I agree, we don't want to, it's a very successful thing. It tends to not be open to people who work, because that's Friday during the day. And so in our view, two things, it excludes those people that work, and also, we want to be more inclusive and not have it in a place, even though it's below the church, in a town building. That's our goal.
Right, and just building on what Rob had said, the Agent of Hartland has a senior cafe on the first Friday. That's another draw for folks who aren't working.
Yeah, and we would be doing this on Saturday mornings, so that's our intention. And we would coordinate, I also would coordinate with Tracy at the library, because I know Tracy is doing some of the things that we used to do regularly. Meet your legislator, or meet your select, we would have a meeting. I think they had a meeting.
They did.
Yes, so that was a popular breakfast where, the town manager would come and be grilled. No,
Wait, let's table this discussion.
We also don't, yes, we we also don't wanna take away from other, existing things, that's not our intention. We don't wanna compete, we just think there's always room for more.
Martin, what is the fee, the lower fee?
I believe it's $25.
The other issues beyond the fee, like insurance issues or anything.
Insurance, which you touched on, we're, in scheduling. But we can handle that.
How often do you have Saturday morning events?
Probably not very frequently, we were trying to make sure we get them on the calendar. There are events that sometimes they rent the space for the entire day. But we can coordinate that.
Yeah, because that did happen several times. I believe we had to adjust, or move the tables up or chairs down rather rapidly, clear out by a certain time.
So internal, kind of operational things, to make sure the oven is on and things like that. The question before the board, though, I believe would be the fee.
So that's the only concern that you have at this point,
Correct.
is just that the policy says the fee is 25.
Correct.
Right, didn't we just work with the Girl Scouts? Well,
let's not bring that up.
I saw tears in those little girls' eyes.
Yeah. No selling cookies on the lawn.
No selling cookies on the lawn. Is that gonna be in conflict with this?
It will not be in conflict with this. We've
No more
moved beyond the
crying
Girl Scout
for me.
cookie.
I can't take it.
Never gonna live that down.
No.
Never.
So, would you like us to waive the fee? Is that one of your asks?
Well, of course.
Well, you could ask.
But in theory, you have to meet the requirements of the Damon Hall rental.
Correct.
But without a fee.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, I think, Jim, that's stated very well that, I would suggest that we work out the insurance business. We still agree to the guidelines that are in that contract for the use. And I would suggest we waive the fee since it is a community event that is trying to be self-sufficient, minimum charges. And
Yeah,
then-
it would be open to anybody. It's not a event for a certain.
So does someone want to make a motion?
Is it, that's not what you need?
Right.
All right, I'll make a motion that we authorize the town manager to waive the Damon Hall rental fee for the Hartland Community Resilience Community Breakfast.
Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Tracy? Aye. Okay, motion passes. Be careful about grilling John, we don't want to,
I think he's good in front of a grill.
It's already begun.
I can manage that.
well, I'm excited, and I appreciate the energy that you're putting into it. Andy, can you introduce the?
Sure, Peter Carini, Joe Knowles, Kim Opry, Matt Wade, Jennifer Wade.
Okay, and is that pretty much the group?
We have other
Or the-
offers.
yeah.
People that say, let us know. So,
Okay, excellent.
Sarah and Brent White expressed some interest in that.
Collins.
Colin Spence, yeah.
Okay. Good, any other questions?
So I believe we would not be asking you all to come and cook. Just in case that was.
Lasagna for breakfast.
I'm offended, you haven't had my pancakes.
It's funny what we would do for a free breakfast.
So if you want to contact me, we can figure out the details and we'll need an insurance certificate and we can figure out scheduling and things like that.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
Great, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Certainly welcome to stay for.
Model guidelines on conduct, public conduct. And you were models.
I think we're gonna. So you can talk freely about us.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Thank you very much.
Let's just give a chance for them to clear out. So,
You can fix that, can we?
Is that a precedent? I mean,
Wheel on
it's a
it.
little, because I think the board could have found someone to donate.
Worried about the, yeah. I think, once you get into the actual procedures, and we should sort of say, this is good for a year, or this season, or whatever.
Or we may be able to find a donor and say we don't need to do that.
Okay, the next topic is something that's in our packet. I think it dovetails with our policy and procedures. And the third piece associated with this is, it was brought to my attention recently that the state now has a state statute to cover ethics, and every organization like the Hartland Selectboard and other municipal entities need to abide by that code of ethics. So,
It's actually more than that.
We have, I am the ethics person for the town of Hartland.
and we need training.
Correct, and I think this is all being rolled out kind of on the fly.
Yeah.
So, as things come to me, they will get passed along to boards and commissions regarding ethics.
So John and I were in contact with Susan Senning, S-E-N-N-I-N-G, from VLCT, and she basically confirmed the ethics piece is coming, it's here, and we'll have to pay attention to that. But I think we need more information on that. We need to come up to speed. I don't understand what the training is. It's an online training, I believe.
At this point, I don't have any additional information.
Yeah. Okay. So there's really two things that I think we're trying to cover here. One is, we as a board just adopted the rules and procedure document. I feel that we're at a point where we should create a document for the Planning Commission and for the Conservation Commission so that we as town entities operate under the same sort of rules and processes. The other code of conduct is really how we act as individuals when we're representing the town. And that's something that is really taking the form as a pledge, or we could potentially wordsmith, which I think we should do, just a few words into the policy and procedure document. So I'll pause. John, can you add to that, please?
Yep, so I think, the rules of procedure which you all signed is a little more formal, meeting locations, agendas, postings, and things like that. The Planning Commission, who is subject to more stringent open meeting laws, might be a good fit for the rules of procedure, but I think something along the lines of what you have here, this is a model from VLCT, like Phil mentioned, that kind of code of conduct pledge would be sufficient for the Conservation Commission, any other boards and commissions which may, pop up from time to time, or, committees, there was the ARPA committee, there was an energy committee previously, anything like that, which didn't have the same power as the select board or the planning commission. I think this code of conduct pledge would be sufficient for those organizations.
Right, and the document that was passed out does not have an exact pledge, so we would have to sort of pick and choose the language that's there.
Yeah, so the bottom of the second page, and we can obviously take this, and it's on the backside as well. Take this, make it specific to Hartland's, add or subtract language as needed, and go from there, especially to the Conservation Commission.
John, I agree that the Conservation Commission is not a regulatory group, but yet they still need to have public meetings and be in the public, which a lot of the rules and procedures spell out. So I'm wondering if we just kind of take out what maybe not be needed by the Conservation Commission.
If from the existing rules of procedure?
Yeah, to lighten it up a little bit. It would be good to make sure that that the commission is very clear about their responsibilities for minutes and agendas and so on.
So the rules of procedure in this code of conduct pledge are there's some overlap, but they are different.
Yes.
This code of conduct pledge talks about more how you present yourself in the meeting, if you are a representative of the town of Hartland, etc. The rules of procedure outlines a little bit, it touches on that a little bit, but also is kind of more procedural in terms of we'll post the agendas here, our minutes will go out, in this amount of time. It would be, one option would be to do both.
One option might be just include some bullet points from this
In the rules of
rules of
Sure,
procedure.
agreed, it's some combination of the two.
Yeah, well, this is, that's true. We just signed as a body, each individual, we just put our signatures on the rules and procedures, so that if we did the same thing with the commissions, that would suffice if we included language like this.
I think we may want to wait and see what the ethics policy is, and that may be the main place to put conduct. This is really nuts and bolts of running a meeting.
The rules of procedure, right, which is why I
This
think,
is more conduct. The other question I have is, do we have the authority to make other bodies within the town sign these things?
make them sign these things?
Yeah, so we have this, suppose, say we have this draft policy about conduct, and the Conservation Commission says, no, I don't want to sign it.
Right.
Can we say yes, if you are going to be on, a list of committees that we assign it to be on that committee, you have to sign this?
So legal opinion is if we do the pledge, this is not legally binding, but the select board can direct appointed or select board created bodies to adopt it and adhere to it.
Oh, okay, good. All right, so yeah. So, but people may, for just a little bit of homework, go to the Secretary of State's office and look at the ethics stuff. And then maybe decide, but, I don't think we need to have personally this rules of procedures for the Conservation Commission or library trustees or whatever. It just, maybe for us in the Planning Commission, with the board, yeah.
I do think it could get a little, it could seem onerous to a group such as the Conservation Commission to take out some of the points from the Code of Conduct policy and insert them in the larger rules of procedure.
Right.
I can envision where they would feel that was gonna, heavy-handed a little bit, because they're not subject to all the rules of procedure.
Okay.
You mean in terms of warning meetings?
Correct. Because it is more procedural.
Well, I'm comfortable moving in that direction. I was just hoping we could maybe create one.
If we're going full board here, I know, like, I'm on this board, and every year I have to sign a conflict of interest statement as well. So, depends how far you want to go with all this stuff.
Right.
I think the ethics direction is really aimed at the conflict of interest.
I think that would,
And what we're trying to sort of introduce is the code of conduct side on that part. So might we ask John to create a rules and procedures for the Planning Commission? And then to craft a code of conduct that could be used by for our employees and our or elected bodies. Is there any reason we shouldn't include the employees in this?
There's not, I mean, I think the personnel policy touches on some of these similar things.
Okay.
But
If it's in there, then I'm okay with it.
the personnel policy talks about, that you are representative of the town of Heartland. However, there's no harm in
You don't want too many sources of
Yeah.
information.
you don't want too many, but I
To hold
think,
people to,
Yeah.
that they were official. They have to sign the personnel policy.
Yeah.
the employees have also, there's an expectation that they are employees of the town, so, their conduct may be subject to, what might, if they leave, if they go too far afield, there may be consequences to such actions.
So I think I see where you're going. I'm just not clear what the shortest path is to get there, right? Because I don't want to create too many documents.
Well, and Jim, you're restating it is, I want to make clear that I also don't want to have, using hurdles as an example, I don't want to have a 440-yard hurdle race as opposed to a 60-meter hurdle. Let's just do exactly what we're targeting, which is kind of have a code of conduct that people can make people more conscious of what's happening and keep the rules just for the.
So a code of conduct for elected bodies and volunteers,
Elected and appointed bodies.
elected and appointed bodies.
Yeah, and what I think we're also saying is that's the direction, I'm saying that's the direction, but we're going to make sure we understand what the ethics side really.
Before we roll something.
Yes.
So I think the shortest path, Jim, to your question is, the rules of procedure should probably be tailored somewhat, if needed, for the planning commission.
They should have their own.
They should have their own rules of procedure. This code of conduct policy or pledge, we can modify it and make it somewhat more Heartland specific.
Yeah.
And it should be given to, we can talk about it at the next meetings, if the board approves, while we're continuing to search on, look at the ethics policies.
The planning commission does have something like a rules of procedure.
They do have something like a rules of procedure. I'm not sure that they've all signed it or visited it.
Yeah. So there'd be some
Correct.
consolidation.
With the changes in open meeting law, I think it's important for them to, for everybody to be aware of the requirements. We're developing a code of conduct pledge or policy that is signed and agreed to by the select board, then given out to boards, commissions, and appointed officials or appointed bodies. So we talked about the animal control officer briefly. We would look for the animal control officer to sign the code of conduct.
Yeah, that's a good catch. Yeah. Okay.
So I think this is something that we can roll out in the next few months while the ethics commission, the state ethics commission, is continuing to put out guidance. Yeah. And if there's any overlap, then we can amend it as needed. We're not wanting to duplicate things
So I
here.
guess we need to see a draft.
Right. I think that's
The simpler the draft is, the better.
Yes.
Yeah, and if there's training for the ethics that are required, I'm going to be rethinking a lot of this because I don't want to have.
Feels my reside.
Yeah.
I can't meet all these rules.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when you start applying rules to specific behaviors, there's so many bad behaviors that people could come up with at any given point that sometimes unless there's a general overview of behavior and you try to get into specifics with a large group of people, your list is gonna be very long.
No, I agree. You keep it high, and I think that this draft that you have in front of you kind of is at that kind of 20,000 foot level.
Yeah.
Because I completely agree that the more specific you provide, you get, the longer that list becomes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, and ultimately, Trace, we as a select board have the power to remove commissioners. So I don't want to ever have to do that, but I think what we're trying to do here is just have people reflect on what they're about to sort of sign, so that they can do that. It's a tumultuous world right now, and I'm very happy that our meetings are conducted in a very civil way. So I wander a little bit. Other points, your points are well taken, Trace, with the complexity of time. You're set for moving on. Okay, good. We added the town plan, and I'll be vague there because I want to make sure that we're now back in sync with the readoption, and we have the dates that we're going to be talking about that, and then just I would like to get a reassurance that where we are with the new town plan is we are actually, things are progressing.
Correct. So now that I think we've gotten all of the possible mistakes out of the way for the readoption of the 2017 town plan, we're required to hold 2 notice public hearings, the select board, notice for 15 days. There's not a requirement to have a set number of time between those 2 public hearings, but I think it's good practice. So we can have the next public hearing on April 7th, which would be the first Monday of April.
To be warned this week.
To be warned this week, to go in the Valley News, to get posted online and at our new revised 3 locations.
And let's come back to April 7th when you're, and then the next one.
And the next one could be, we could potentially warn it for the 3rd Monday in April.
And you could warn that next week.
We could also warn that, that could get sent to the Valley News.
I would just do them a week apart, right, so that's not confusing in the newspaper.
So 15 days.
So warn one this week, warn the second one next week.
So everything is based off of when the planning commission has their public hearing.
Nope, we're talking about 2017, the 2017 town plan. Readoption, so there's no action needed by the planning commission to readopt the 2017 town plan.
At least 30 days prior to the first hearing, a copy of the proposed plan or amendment in the written report shall be delivered physically or electronically to XYZ group.
That's the 2025.
So when is the planning commission having we can't have our hearing before the planning commission has their hearing.
That's the process for the 2025 town.
It is not. It is proposed plan or amendment. They're amending.
We're not amending.
We're not amending,
We're not making changes.
The guidance that I've been given by our regional planning commission is that the select board can readopt the 2017 town plan with no changes.
Right.
No changes at all.
Right.
You're simply reauthorizing the plan with 2 public hearings.
Right, if we make a change, then it gets much more complicated.
Correct. I will confirm that with.
That makes 0 sense to me.
Because it's already been adopted, it's already gone through the hearing process.
In 2017, are you trying to tell me that there's never been a single change made to that planning commission since 2017?
To the plan?
To the plan.
To the town plan?
No.
We're readopting the same plan that was adopted in May of 2017.
Right.
Verbatim.
And this is a stopgap measure until the 2025 plan is ready.
This is exactly why I wanted to talk about this tonight.
I got the statute right here in front of me.
So, I mean, we went through this 60 days ago.
Yeah.
Right.
And who did you go through this with?
I think you were there.
I went through I had this conversation with
The league, so the league is
I
on
went
board
through this
with
with the regional planning commission.
I don't care
will
about the regional planning.
I will confirm this process with the league to make sure
No,
that
they're
we
not
are.
attorneys. I mean, and they have a lot of new people at Two Rivers.
Yeah.
I'm not raising
So I
fault
think
with
it's
that.
valid to get a legal opinion.
Yep.
To make sure that we're.
What is the question on the table? So we have April 7th for our first meeting. up for the readoption of the town plan. So now the question is how many days, the interval between?
Well, I think there's two questions on the table.
Right.
If,
This is
we'll
like,
get we will get a firm legal opinion on whether the
Let me Google this.
select board can readopt it
I
without.
mean, we were doing our hearing tonight, it just got canceled.
Right. If the second question, so there's two questions on the table. If we'll get a legal opinion to confirm, and then we'll set those 2 dates. If the process is what Tom is suggesting, everything goes out the window when we're starting it goes back to the planning commission to hold a public hearing, in which case we are out of time.
Yes.
Okay. One
question. Why are we re-adopting it? Because we're not ready for the new one?
Because it
Right.
expires in May.
We're readopting the 2017 town plan as a stopgap measure while the 2025 town plan is reviewed by the select board and the planning commission holds their public hearings. Yes, it is confusing.
That's a good starting point.
There was just one piece though. Like, TK, you were worried that there wouldn't be enough time in between the meetings? You were worried
So-
there wouldn't be enough?
And John said this correctly, and I think from future, we should do this. We are looking at approving the 2017 town plan. And no offense, new plan, old plan, 2017, and we then are going to be brought, or that's what I think I was given today, is a public hearing on the town plan.
2025.
Like, you can't give it a date, it just, or whatever, we can call it 2025 town plan.
The next one.
Fine.
The next
And
one.
then there's a whole process
Right.
by which they
Planning
need
commission
to,
hearings, then select board hearings. Right.
we, as part of that process, should have been notified by the planning commission that they're starting the process. So adjacent communities are supposed to be notified
For the new town plan.
for the new time,
Yeah,
2025.
Yeah.
I'm not using new.
Yeah.
My
town
assumption is
plan.
they're working with Two Rivers on that right now.
But, so the process hasn't started yet, is what I'm trying to get at, is that they haven't warned a public hearing, they haven't, did they send it to the Department of Housing and Community Development? You know,
Who was with us last meeting?
Kevin,
Kevin was it Kevin?
on Zoom, to talk about the municipal planning grant.
Right. No,
No,
but
municipal
somebody
planning,
came,
you're talking
somebody
about.
also discussed, didn't we ask the question whether they had received it's Peter Greer.
No,
I asked,
I don't think we had anybody
No,
else
it was
from
only
Two Rivers
Kevin
here
was
to talk
here.
about this conversation.
Kevin was remote, but took part in the meeting.
I just wanted to be correct.
Yeah.
Agreed,
So this-
agreed.
So the
And
new
just-
adoption, very complicated. So this is a re-adoption. Right? But you're gonna make sure it's legal.
We are, well, yes. Yes, I will make sure that the readoption of the 2017 town plan is done legally and correctly
And warned properly.
and warned properly with the first public hearing being warned for April 7th.
Right.
Okay.
That's the goal. And you'll know in a couple of days
I will.
when it's possible.
Yes.
And then, once that occurs, where do you gather the information to correctly send our new proposal out? And who does that work? And where does it get sent? And when does it need to get started? How long is it gonna take? All those questions.
Right, those are a lot of questions. I would believe that the planning commission should have some ownership over the public notice and warning of the new 2025 town plan.
Okay, here, I got it. Planning Commission action. Town Planning Commission initiates the readoption process. They hold at least one public hearing on the draft plan before sending it to the select board. This planning commission can then make revisions to the proposed plan or amendment. The select board holds a public hearing on the plan. In municipalities with over 2,500 residents, select board must hold 2 public hearings. Public notices must be at least posted in at least 15 days in advance.
Right. But does it apply to the readoption?
Readoption.
Of an already adopted town plan, or is that just the standard?
In Vermont, readopting a town plan follows a similar process as initial adoption, involving public hearings, potential regional planning commission approval, with a deadline of 1 year from the final public hearing for the select board to take action.
So one thing I'm hearing there
What's the
is,
referencing?
Yeah.
has the planning commission, does the planning commission, what is the planning commission's role?
The planning commission
We skip
has
that.
to have a public, at least, and again, we're gonna check this out,
Yeah,
a public hearing.
The problem,
Prior to their public hearing, though, they need to circulate the town plans.
So I will consult with both our regional planning commission and the Vermont League of Cities and Towns to make sure that we are following the correct process for readopting the 2017 town plan. There is a clear checklist that has been put together by the league for the adoption of a new town plan. I would like to do step 1 because it's very confusing before we even get to step 2.
Right.
Right?
I totally
I
concur.
totally
Okay,
agree.
let's not do this together.
Readopt.
Readopt is what we're doing right now.
What you read said revision in there, and
No, it's readopt.
So we
but
will,
before, after you said readopt, it said,
If you-
you were reading and it said revision on the readopting plan. If there's a revision on that,
So-
and there is no revision on this.
so I think that's the question that we need the attorney in the league to answer. If we are adopting, if the board is readopting the 2017 town plan verbatim,
No revision.
no changes at all. We're not fixing spelling errors or anything.
Nothing.
We are adopting it.
can you get it in writing?
Right, yeah, yes, I will, absolutely.
But thank you, TK.
What is the
That's
process for
very
that?
important.
No, during the hearing, the planning commission is allowed to make revisions to their readopted plan, is what it said.
Okay, I'm good. John, I understand what you said.
Okay, so,
And we killed
I'm
this.
kinda-
we-
No, you
we
did great.
beat this
I'm kinda
mule.
confused.
No, don't be
At this
confused,
point.
it's all good, it's all good.
hold
We got
on.
it.
I think we've just thrown the April 7th date into jeopardy.
The April 7 dates, we don't know until he makes his.
Correct.
calls.
Correct.
We are,
Correct.
So we
That's-
have a meeting that day anyway?
No, we don't.
yeah, well, so yes,
So that's where
We
I'm.
don't?
so that's part 2 of this conversation.
I thought that was our.
At the last meeting,
Understanding.
I am gone the first week of April. If we can set the agenda next week for the April 7th meeting, and Martin and upstairs staff are willing to put packets together and get them mailed out, we can meet on April 7th.
Okay.
Right, it's our first regular meeting,
It will be the first regular meeting.
first Monday of the month.
Right.
Right, but there's some hedge in there because before we were skipping the 7th.
Because I'm not here next
I
week, right?
understand, but
The other thing is, the world is not gonna end if we have an expired town plan for 2 weeks.
I think we want to ensure.
I understand that, but you know,
It's a
we're
window,
twisting ourselves inside now.
right, it's a window of opportunity.
Right.
For a project that's already under discussion.
Okay, so I agree that you and I can work
Next week,
next week.
to set the agenda for April 7th.
Okay,
Tomorrow morning, so what will happen?
Or it's all based on your schedule.
Right. Tomorrow morning, we will find out. We'll check with the attorney in the league. If that comes back positive tomorrow afternoon, we'll get it posted and warned in the Valley News. So, step 1, if step 1 goes, we'll go to step 2.
Great.
If step 1 doesn't go, we have no time.
okay, so step
That's a
one,
very different conversation, yes.
so if we're back to April 7th and everything is good, do we want to predict the next meeting?
It would be 2 weeks.
It would be
standard meeting.
15 days between notice.
It is not, so we will get confirmed with the attorney.
Okay,
A strict read of state statute says you do not need to have any time between the 2 public hearings, although I think that is not really meeting the spirit of
Yes,
the
that's
statute.
bad public policy.
Yeah, agreed. So I think if 2 weeks, even if it's 14 days, would probably be
Yeah.
sufficient, yeah.
Okay, any other questions?
I think we should really just start at the beginning and see if we all understand this.
I looked at the agenda, I go, wow, this is just, my brain
I'm gonna start drinking.
My head is spinning over.
Well, and I'm sure the reporter's got this.
I don't know your name, but
You have to read the paper to find out
Did you
what
read
we
the
just said.
newspaper?
can you tell us what we decided?
Yeah, you can let us know.
No, I can't even read my
Great,
notes.
perfect. So we're all on the same page. We're all on the same page. Nobody knows what's going on. Nailed it.
And extreme faith in the next topic.
Yeah.
We're going on to the 10 minutes.
Next topic, yeah.
So, it's been, road postings went out. They are posted through May 15th. We're starting to see some damage to roads already. If we need to revise that date, you know, because spring is kind of here a little earlier, we can shorten that if needed. We'll let it go for now and see what comes out in the coming, you know, month or so. The North Hartland Fire Station furnace has been completed. They're back operational. It's warm, it's quiet. There's no fans hanging from the ceiling, so it's all good there. Somebody asked for an update on the red truck. The update on the red truck is that it is currently at New Car in Lebanon. They are determining whether or not, based on all the previous repairs, we should move forward with replacing the engine, which was under warranty when it went.
Oh, that's good news.
So the original engine went bad. We had to replace last year. After some protracted discussions, we got the truck back. New engine went bad. We took it to New Car in Lebanon as opposed to back to the original mechanic. They're going to give us the determination hopefully this week on whether or not we should proceed with replacing the engine again.
How old's the truck?
How old is the 20? Yeah, like it's the oldest truck and probably the most heavily used truck in the fleet.
Gas or diesel?
Diesel.
Why wouldn't we replace it just to get value for when we sell it?
I don't think there is much value to when we sell it at this point, and we just recently purchased a couple of trucks, so now we're going to be stuck with, if we replace it, we're stuck with, you know, 3 trucks that have been purchased in 20, that are 24, 25s, which is not ideal for 5 years from now, because we're going to be stuck with doing 3 again. I would like to, if New Car determines that we can, you know, work with it for another year, 18 months, it puts us in a better position in 2030.
Is New Car a diesel?
New Car is Lebanon a Ford, or Lebanon,
A dealership?
yeah, it's a dealership, sorry, Ford of Lebanon.
Patch.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes,
Oh,
exactly.
It's called what now? New car?
New car.
New Car, yeah. So,
But is New Car the one that put the motor in?
they are not.
No.
This was the other
This
person?
is the dealer,
Dalton's repair.
Yep.
Diesel repair.
up in Thetford, I believe,
Yeah.
Thetford or Fairleigh.
This is where we took it back.
This is where we took it last in December, January of 23 or 24, and then they had it for an extended period of time while putting this engine in. And here we are,
Yeah,
a year later.
okay.
So whoever asked me, you asked for the update.
I did.
My brain continues to explode today.
Because you didn't want to hear it, doesn't mean.
The Upperville Land Trust did a monitoring of the Somerset property, which is the one behind the parking ride lot. There's no issues, so everything continues to be great there.
Right.
We are waiting on V-Trans to do a hydraulic study, and then with that hydraulic study for the culvert replacement on Jennyville, at the corner of Densmore Hill and Jennyville. With that study, Two Rivers will put out an RFP for engineering services, so we can get that project designed, while we continue to try to track down, you know, funding for the actual project itself. Speaking of grants, we just signed an extension to do more road striping that we had that grant for last summer. They striped some areas of town, not the correct areas of town, or the areas that they were supposed to do. So we're gonna get that done properly this spring. The North Heartland School, following up on town meeting, my recommendation is that we consider draining the pipes and turning off the electricity and letting that building.
The oil tank as well.
Yeah, empty the oil tank, and stop sinking money into a building that is going to continue to fall into greater states of disrepair.
In some danger.
Right.
No trespassing. So.
We'll post it, danger, when windows get broken, as they do periodically, we will put a board over them, we will not replace the windows.
Yeah.
And continue to try to find opportunities for to get rid of the building.
Wasn't there a committee from?
Yes, there was a committee.
There was a committee. Were the members from that specific space in North Heartland, like near the building? Or was it just a town-wide?
They were primarily from North Heartland, although there was some.
The chair was from North Heartland.
Right.
And most of the members were from North Heartland.
Yeah, and we read
There were two select board members, the rec center.
Right.
Rec. So.
We read their recommendations.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So I've made a couple phone calls. I think we can get funding to have a building assessment done. So they could look at lead paint, asbestos, et cetera. Because what my read on what happened at town meeting is that we probably need to let them know what it would cost to reuse that building. I don't think it was a matter of that we just let it become blighted, more blighted than it already is. So for next year, we might be able to say, we had this study done, it's gonna cost X number of dollars, here's add this in there, and our recommendation is.
We already have an estimate.
We have kind of back of the napkin estimate.
But it was more from a builder.
From a
What I'm
contractor.
saying is you're looking at all the environmental factors.
Sure. And I would, well, I also heard people say, take the building down and just use the space.
Yeah.
It was the land that people didn't want to
Right.
lose. So if we get that study, I think we could.
Then we'd also find out how much it would cost to knock it down.
To demo.
But is it gonna cost us money for that study or is
No.
it free? It's
Free. Working free.
All right.
In the meantime, we continue to pay for.
Yeah, I agree with what you want to do. That's just,
Okay.
Thank you for
Can't we just
finding that.
give it to the fire department and let them practice on it?
don't laugh.
Can't do that anymore.
No, those days are
No,
gone.
I just read in the paper they had a house someplace and they burned it.
Yeah, that first summer.
Thetford or someplace
Yeah.
like that? They were practicing
They
on
were
it?
practicing with the fake smoke stuff. I don't
So I think what we can do
Okay,
is,
so.
It's mothball, you want a mothball?
Yeah.
I agree.
No, I'm comfortable with the mothballing, it's just.
Yeah, for now.
So I don't think we need a motion.
right,
Started on that.
exactly.
Okay.
And then, not to make your more, we need to start talking about E911 and potentially renumbering. We're running into some issues in town, particularly along the Brownsville Road right now. So I think we are beginning to talk about using the Brownsville Road as a kind of a test case.
I don't mean this as being facetious, but we asked the former listers to start and get a plan for how to do this. Did anything happen?
As far as I'm aware, I think there was talk about this, but there was never any action taken. So I've talked with the town clerk about this. The next couple of weeks, I think we can anticipate having a plan coming together, and again, starting with just the Brownsville Road as a pilot project.
Yeah.
Because it's becoming an issue, and it will be an issue townwide, but this gives us a kind of a step.
And it's a big impact. There's no question.
It will have a big impact. There will be we would anticipate there being upset people throughout town, especially when it comes to private roads and things like that, or shared driveways. So that is it.
John, I need to ask, last week we were talking about patching potholes on the Quechee Road, and I did not come down that way this evening, but
There
what's the
was
status?
10 bags of cold patch that went out on the Quechee Road. The cold patch is a very
Is that today?
This was last week. Cold patch is a very temporary thing. It will hold up better without plow trucks driving over it, which has been good. So we haven't had any super cold weather since it went out. With the warmer temperatures, I believe 60 degrees is when the plant will start making hot mix, and we can start putting in, we can start doing some more permanent or semi-permanent pothole repairs along the Quechee Road.
Okay. It's bad,
Correct.
really bad.
That is
Okay,
correct.
anything else?
No, that is it for me.
Okay. We have future agenda items listed as 3 corners, intersection lights, the North Hartland covered bridges, Bird Hill Road, Quechee Road maintenance, the cemetery committee, and the town and highway capital plan.
So just 2 updates on 2 of those things. One, Two Rivers under the Thriving Communities Grant, we're nearly complete with a draft highway capital plan. We anticipate seeing that in the next couple of weeks. And the cemetery committee issue has been kind of renewed. There, again, are people who are interested in burials in current cemeteries. I've reached back out to Daryl Calkins regarding the ground mapping to understand where people, where there were existing spots. He was away, but I anticipate hearing back from Daryl soon.
Okay, great, thank you. Any correspondence?
No correspondence.
Okay. We do have a executive session with a Merritt Campbell request, and it's likely there'll be action.
Likely there will be action.
So let's adjourn for a few minutes so we can get
We can't adjourn.
You can make a
I'm
motion.
gonna make a motion that we, after a brief recess, we enter executive session under 1 VSA 313A6.
I'll
Discussing our Campbell.
all in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you, Jim.
Are we live?
Okay, hold it, guys, hold it.
We're returning to 1,000 numbers for Mark.
100 of them.
We're returning to the
trying.
meeting.
Okay,
So I'm gonna make a motion, the lights are flashing, are we good?
We're good, we're good,
Make a
Chris?
motion that we approve a Merritt Campbell request for $1,575.
I'll second.
all in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Can I get a motion to adjourn?